Let's have another go at that sky. So wet the page down to just below halfway, I think. Sort of down to about there. Quite a bit of pigment in this water at the moment. And then lightly dab in some neutral tone. So this is Jackson's neutral tone that I use. You can see how it sort of disperses as you touch it. You can see how it's a great stormy sky. Well, that's looking better. And then we'll add a little bit of indigo lower down just to give us some different coloured clouds in the lower down in the sky. Just go a bit random with that. That's probably about it. Take some of that water away from the horizon there. So what you want is a nice straight horizon. So I think probably let that dry. I'll come back to it in a second. Yeah, that's probably dry enough now. So I'll go some quite strong indigo. Just take a little bit off on the tissue. Maybe just test this on a bit of paper just to see what we're trying to do. So you see, trying to just drag it like too much there. Drag it across, so you're leaving that sparkle of the water. That looks okay. There, that's what you're trying to do. Let's try and do that now. I'm not doing it. That's what I'm trying to do. Water glistening, do you see? And then as you come lower down the page, we'll add a bit darker. Put the dark horizon. Touching in a few bits of darker colour to give it a bit, see a bit of texture there. So we'll try a bit of turquoise, because that sort of gives you that effect of you've seen the translucent bit of sea shining through the wave. going to put a few waves in now. I always find this bit quite tricky. So looking at sort of the dark underside of the wave, let the shimmery bit be the crest of the wave. And then as the water comes onto shore, then you get this sort of shimmery effect again. Try a bit of sandy, very light Chinese orange. This. Still got a bit of indigo on the brush, so it mixes in and sort of blends. Let that dry. Okay. Not quite what I planned, but we'll put a figure in now. So when you're doing perspective, if you're at eye level, your eye level will be on the horizon. That's the one I'd drawn previously. We've got the figure's head below the horizon, so that means that whoever's painting it is stood above him, so, or her. But I think what I'll do this time is I'll have the figure with their head on or slightly above the horizon, so it looks like they're at the same eye level as us. So just start with a little head shape. Body, you'll have seen people, in fact we'll do it with a smaller brush, talk about carrot figures, and I think that's quite a good description. What I do is a little blob for the head, bigger blob for the body, quite a chunky one this fella. And then the legs, 2 little spikes. You see, real simple, and I think it's quite effective. Sometimes you could always add sort of an elbow sticking out, and maybe an hand coming down here that's holding the. I've drawn a dog on the lead before, so you got the hand there. Oops, shaky hands here. Have a little bit of a gap between the legs, and if they're walking, then you have one leg slightly longer than the other, and it just gives that effect that they're stepping off into the distance. So I'll draw a dog. I've got a French bulldog, so it's going to be a French bulldog. So that's his head. Little chunky body and a couple of legs down there. And he's looking off into the distance on the right, seeing something over there. And then just do his lead coming down like that. And then if we're going to have a reflection on the beach, if this is a wet beach, then we could have a little bit of a shimmery effect coming down here, so you can see that person, the reflection of the person and the dog coming down like that. We'll put a bit of a line, sort of thicker line, just at the base of the foot there, just seems to help show where the mirror line is on the reflection. Of course, if it's a wet sand, then it's not going to be a complete reflection, but it's just going to be dispersed a little bit like that. And then maybe just add a little bit of reflection on the rest of it. Just sort of semi-dry brush, just dragging it across the surface, and let that in a little bit to smudge it. That's it. Didn't quite turn out how I had planned. The horizon didn't work. That shimmery effect ought to be up there on the horizon, so you've got the light coming from the sky bouncing off the sea, but I think you get the idea. We're trying to get that effect there in the middle, really. So they don't work every time, do they? But it's just a bit of trial and error. Okay, I hope that that worked. Oh, another little tip. What is to add a bit of texture to the person? Just lift out a bit of colour. There we go. Just lift a bit of colour out on one side, and it just gives the effect of, I think, like that. And maybe just darken up one side. Okay, there we go. That's it, finished. Looks a bit translucent, that person now. We should have left it. There we go.